We're going to resume now with part three of the Meanor story. What was it about a call in January of 2014 that was significant, Brad, when your mom said your dad was gone?
Well, Dad had been in the hospital probably a couple of times in those 2 weeks, and everybody was praying, of course, for his recovery. And we really thought he was going to be do better. And then I got home, and I knew the phone had rang, but I missed the call, and I could actually hear the answer machine, and Mom was just crying, "Son, I don't know what to do. What Dad's gone." So I picked up the phone right away and called her back, and she said, "Son, what are we going to do?" I said, "You're coming to Texas." Because I was living in Texas at the time. Here, I've been living here for all those years. I was living here in Texas at the time of the call, and had been here already. 2005. I'd probably been here already 9 years, and so Mom called. I said, "You're moving to Texas," and she said to me, "Are you sure you want us?" I said, "You absolutely, you're moving." "Okay, son. We'll get our checks, and as soon as we get our checks, we'll be on the next train." Well, I didn't want to go on Facebook because I figured I'd hear a bunch of people telling me what I was going to do next, and I just decided I didn't want to do that. But I did. I always wanted to let my buddy Jason know, Jason Vance, who's a lifelong friend and someone I met in college, who I didn't mention in the story. I should probably mention something about him. Let me mention that about him real quick, and that is Jason. When I moved to Kansas in 1977, I got off the bus and I found a place in Emporia, Kansas. That's where I went to school, Emporia State University. I went to a house called the Mayhans owned the place. They were members of First Baptist in Emporia, and they invited me to church. I attended there for a while. Nice people. And I was didn't have a car, and so I'm taking my laundry to have my laundry in a laundry basket and walking down the street, and this guy comes by in an old '77 Chevrolet or whatever it was, '72, whatever. He's got a mop. I call it a mop haircut, sort of. But he said, "Hey, you need a ride?" I said, "Sure." Get in the car. His name's Jason. My name is Brett, and he took me down to Laundromat. We started talking. And he enticed me down to his room, meet his roommates, and well, that was the beginning of a lifelong friendship because I met his roommates. They're all Christians, and that was my first exposure to Christianity. Now, it took me a couple years to accept Christ as Savior, but Jason was just so good to me. I mean, gifts. I mean, he invited me up to his house for a Christmas month off. So I was up at his house in Leavenworth with his parents for 1 month. And they were very nice to me. We got along great. And so Jason has just been a precious soul for the last several decades and just a very dear friend. And so when I called him up and told him, I said, my dad's is gone. He said, I got to bring mom to Texas. He said, why, you're not going to New York? I said, well, Jason, why aren't you going to New York? He asked me. I said, well, number one, my church is here. Number two, my work is here. Number three, I know people here. And number four, it's cheaper here. And he says, okay, that's fine. He says, I'll send you $1,000. I'm like, okay, you want to? I gotta get mom here by train. He goes, pay for it with the amount of money you get. So when the money came, I bought the air ticket. I bought the train ticket. I called my mom on the phone. I said, Mom, I got the ticket. Well, son, that's okay. He says, we'll wait till we get our money. I said, I've got the ticket. I want you to get on the train, right? Oh, I think I sent it to her. Did you get the ticket? Yeah, I did. What does it say on there? It says to leave tomorrow at 2. That's when I want you on your train, tomorrow at 2. Are you sure? Okay. He said, we got stuff. I said, don't worry about that stuff. Get here on that train. So she packed her stuff and they got on the train. And I was calling him every 5 minutes. So I was like, have you on again? Oh, we're getting ready to go to train. So we're waiting for a ride. And then we get to the train station. They said, it hasn't come yet. It'll be there at 2:50. And as it come, oh, it's coming, son. It's coming. And then she jumped on a train and we'll call you again. And I followed her for 2 days, making sure she got on every train. Finally, I got the call. We'll be there at 2 in the morning. Well, I'm up to late anyway. So I got in the car, drove over there. And there she was getting off the bus with Brad. And they're bringing her luggage off. And I said, well, how'd you like? Oh, it was a beautiful ride. They were all so nice. And when I went to get the car, she says, son, don't go anywhere. I said, I'm going to get the car, Mom. And so I got the car and excuse me, that was to me the beginning of probably the best decision I've ever made to bring Mom and Brad here. And soon after, she brought Dad's ashes with her. And so we had to find a place to put them. And we decided on where to put them. And we did that a few weeks later. And then Mom started going to church with me. Went to a couple of places. She really liked Kai Bowman, High Park Baptist, and got a lot wanted to go there quite often. Loved their music. We went to Gateway for a little while. Got to know some really great people over there. Eric Bryant's a wonderful pastor. He baptized Mom. This was happening. This is crazy. We were going to Gateway for a while. We're sitting in the service, and Pastor John Burke was talking, showing had a design, a drawing behind him about a fence, and he basically said, "You got to get off the fence." And after that sermon's over, Mom just popped up and said, "I want to get baptized." And I go, "What was that?" And we talked a little bit. Do you know about accepting Christ as Savior? And she talked to another guy. Yes, I've accepted Christ. Okay. And so what we did on a Wednesday night, she was John Burke was going to do it for her, but it turned out he had to be out of town because his son was moving into college. So poor Eric Bryant got the job of baptizing her. And what was kind of special about this was whenever my mom first came to Texas, I called some friends of mine named Trent and Corbett Marler, and they were helping us with our remembrance. They were very, 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 very helpful. They ran everything. They helped very much the remembrance a couple weeks ago. And but they took Mom to the LBJ Ranch, and we had a tour of the place. They had gifts for her. We carted her around a wheelchair, not because she needed to, but she'd get exhausted if she kept on walking. So we carted her around, and she was crying like a baby when she got these gifts. And literally fell in love with Trent. Of course, she'd been talking to Trent for years before then, anyway. Trent and Corbett, and we'd go up there a lot with them. We go up the quarries together. Mom loved the quarries July 4th celebration. I took her to some of the dances, and I took her out to some place. She didn't go to movies much. She didn't care to go to. I don't remember if she ever went to a movie. We go bowling because Brad liked to go bowling. We go to historic and the Salvation Army. She loved growing plants, and she had a greenhouse out here almost. She basically turned the place into a greenhouse. She would always be talking to her plants, and I mean that in a very nice way, telling them to grow. And so her favorite TV shows, she loved Three's Company. What's that?
That girl.
That girl. She loved Three's Company, and she loved what else was there? She loved Hazel. She liked Don DeFore, the actor. He's handsome. She liked him. She would watch Perry Mason frequently. I don't know why, but I could not get her to watch Father Knows Best. I don't know why. I said, I come downstairs and say, "Mom, Lost in Space is on." She go, "Good. Have a good time." And also, she didn't like the TVs I bought her. I mean, I don't mean that disrespectfully. She loved the fact anytime I bought her anything, she loved it. But she didn't like modern TVs because she could never find her channels. I said, "Mom, you want to find these TVs? Yeah, give me an older TV," she said. I said, "Mom, there's only one problem. You'll never find your TV shows because they're not on there." "Oh, okay, son." And so I'd had to help her with the remote. And one time I got her a voice remote. And it was hilarious because I say, "Okay, all you got to push the button and say Hazel." Well, she was supposed to wait a few seconds and then say Hazel, but she could never get that down. Or maybe once in a while she'd get it down where she would say Hazel, Hazel. I mean, I can hear it upstairs. I always hear Hazel, Hazel. After about 15 times with Hazel, I come down and push the button for her. "How did you do that? I don't like this remote. I want the other remote." Or one time I'd be at work and I get a phone call. "Son, yeah, Mom, is everything okay?" "Yeah, son, yeah, I got Hazel." "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
"Yes." "I can't believe it. I just pushed the button. I said it the right way and it came on." I said, "Congratulations." So she did get Hazel a few times. She also surprised me. Of course, she'd be up in the morning and 4 in the morning making our lunches, making our breakfast. I'd have food ready at night already, and I come home to be sandwiches ready for me. I call her up. I always called her when I got to work. Called her at lunch, sometimes called her, and sometimes she would just call me during the day to see if I was doing okay, Or you sounded tired this morning. Are you okay? I'm doing fine, Mom. One time I'm literally in Lockhart and I called up, so okay, Mom, I'll be home about 45 minutes. I'm done. Okay. And I decided to pop in the grocery store real quick and get a couple things. I'm running a little bit more than 45 minutes. I get up to the house and there Brad and Mom are standing at the corner. I said, are you guys okay? Well, you said you'd be home in 45 minutes, so we've been waiting for you. So that happened a few times. Or I come up the stairs and she'd be way, hi, son. Or I would walk, or I'd be going out for a walk and I'd hear this. And I look up, it'd be Mom on the porch waving at me. Or I'd see her down the stairs. I'd say, Mom, what are you doing? Well, I was waiting for you to come take me for a walk. She would do little things like that. So just a lot of stuff of playing with plants or just, I could go on and on. Like, and she loved the music. She loved Kai Bowman's preaching. And whenever we could get up there, she wanted to hear him preach. And I know that whenever we were at there, I'd say, Pastor, Mom's here, and he'd go right over there and say, hey, Mrs. Meanor, how you doing? And and she would say to me, you didn't tell him where here was. I'm not saying, but she was so pleased to have Pastor Bowman say hi. But yeah, that was the way it was. And
Was it hard to adjust to having your mom and your brother here with you?
the funny thing was, it was not at all. It was so easy. It was so comfortable. It fit. I don't think there was even an adjustment. I mean, the only thing that really changed was that my roommate, Bob, decided that he had enough properties around the city that he could move into one because it was just a little bit too. And I tried to get my mom a place, but I kind of was torn because number one, it was too costly. I don't think they were going to let her in with a fixed income. But the other thing was, Dad did say you take care of your mom. And so I was trying to rationalize, well, she can be over here while I'm over here. And I thought, I don't think so. So eventually she stayed here, and my good buddy Bob went to an apartment in a house of his own. But no, it was just it just fit. And I don't want to say I regretted not doing it sooner. I guess I'm glad that it was probably a year before I was working at a job and I thought about bringing my parents here before Dad passed. And so I remember talking to Mom on the phone. I said, Mom, I said, I'd like to bring you and Dad and Brad here. If I get this job, I'm going to make sure you get an apartment place here. And she said, I don't know if your dad's going to want to move to Texas because Dad had been here during the service in Waco and he did not like it. But anyway, I did. He did. But anyway, so I later found out that when Mom came here, she said, oh, yeah, I told your dad. I didn't mean it. Or sometime I found out that Dad knew about it and he didn't want to move. No way. So bless God, thank God, I made a decision to invite him here. It was his call, so that's fine. But it was a beautiful time.
What did your mom like to do the most?
I think flowers would be the one thing that she really liked dealing with. Asked me to call places and check every time I was at Walmart, check on flowers for me, find enough seeds. Almost every time I was out shopping, see if you can find seeds for me. These flowers aren't growing. I don't know why they're not growing the way they should be. They grew in New York, okay. I think flowers she liked, and then she liked going to Salvation Army. She loved shopping there. I'd say, Mom, I could take you. Why should I go to those other places? I get some really nice clothes there. Forget it. I'm not spending $100 on that. Forget that. She goes to Salvation Army. She loved going to Salvation Army. And of course, occasionally, if we went out, would do stuff, she'd go out. But she really wasn't as much about being out with people as I wasn't really much about that. But she preferred home and just doing stuff at home.
What are some special moments you remember?
I think her baptism was a special moment, obviously. I think those times when she surprised me by waiting for me outside or coming to, slapping her hand, clapping her hands and calling my attention, those are special moments. Or calling me downstairs to fix that remote for her. Or, I think that remote, the thing about the remote was hilarious because I really bought that remote to help her with the thing and she wanted to get rid of it. I kept on trying to show her how to do it. She was like, I don't understand this thing. But it was, I don't know, I think another special moment is that she just didn't like the shows I liked, which had an irony to it. It's like you feel like, I mean, I would watch some of the shows with her for a few minutes, but and yeah, we'd have sometimes watch. We've watched Father Knows Best, the movie together, but we just didn't watch a lot of the same shows. We just didn't have the same interests. Oh, don't forget, I forgot to mention. Oh, I cannot forget this. She loved Donald Trump. She has a hat. I still got it. It has Trump's name on it. Anytime she went out, she made sure she had that hat with her. By the way, the whole family loves Donald Trump. Just to let you know, my mom loved Donald Trump. So anytime he came on, she was like, I gotta listen to him. And in 2016, we were up till 2 in the morning and she was sweating bullets. Oh, come on, Donald, come on. And when he won, she was ecstatic. I mean, she was so happy and she was big on Trump and wearing that hat everywhere, the Trump hat everywhere she could go. And so, and I think another thing precious about mom is the fact that she was so, anything I bought her, she appreciated. Anything we bought her, it was always Brad and me buying her something. She just loved it.
This brings to a conclusion part 3 of the Meanor story. So we'll come back on part 4 in a moment.
Thank you.